Have you ever met someone and instantly felt like you could trust them? Or the opposite? Something felt off, even though they hadn't done anything wrong. What's fascinating is that your brain makes these judgments in seconds. Long before people tell you who they are, they reveal clues through their behavior, body language, tone of voice, and tiny habits most people never notice. Today, you'll learn some of the most powerful psychological insights that can help you understand people better, communicate more effectively, and avoid being manipulated. And the last point might completely change how you see the people around you. Let's begin. The first thing you need to understand is that people rarely reveal their true feelings with words. Think about it. How many times has someone said, "I'm fine," when they were clearly upset? Humans are social creatures. We often hide emotions to avoid conflict, embarrassment, or judgment. That's why psychologists pay close attention not only to what people say, but also to how they say it. When someone's words and body language don't match, body language is often telling the real story. For example, if a person says they're excited about an idea but avoids eye contact, crosses their arms, and gives short answers, there's a good chance they're not as enthusiastic as they claim. The second psychological insight is called baseline behavior. Most people make the mistake of looking for signs of lying without first knowing how a person normally behaves. Imagine one person naturally speaks very fast and moves their hands constantly. Another speaks slowly and barely gestures. If both suddenly change their normal behavior during a conversation, that change is more important than the behavior itself. Psychologists call this establishing a baseline. Before you can understand someone, you need to understand what's normal for them. The third insight is something called the mirror effect. People naturally mirror the behavior of people they like and trust. Have you ever noticed two close friends sitting in similar positions? Or laughing in the same way? That's not an accident. When people feel connected, their brains unconsciously begin copying each other's movements, posture, and speech patterns. The opposite is also true. When someone feels uncomfortable, disconnected, or defensive, mirroring often disappears. This doesn't mean every lack of mirroring is a bad sign, but it can reveal a lot about the emotional state of a conversation. Now, here's something most people never realize. Confidence and competence are not the same thing. Psychology studies repeatedly show that people often mistake confidence for intelligence. A person who speaks loudly and decisively can appear more knowledgeable than someone who is actually an expert. That's why charismatic people can sometimes influence entire groups despite having little expertise. The lesson? Don't judge ideas based on how confidently they're delivered. Judge them based on evidence. Next, let's talk about silence. Most people are terrified of silence. The moment a conversation becomes quiet, they rush to fill the gap. But skilled communicators understand something powerful. Silence creates pressure. When you remain calm and comfortable during a pause, other people often reveal more information than they intended. Negotiators use this technique. Interviewers use this technique. Even detectives use this technique. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Another fascinating psychological principle is called emotional contagion. Emotions spread from person to person like a virus. If someone walks into a room angry, tense, and frustrated, that mood can quickly affect everyone around them. The same is true for positivity. This is why the people you spend time with have such a powerful impact on your mindset. You don't just hear their thoughts. You absorb their emotional patterns. Choose your environment carefully, because your brain is always listening, even when you think it isn't. Now let's discuss one of the biggest mistakes people make when judging others. They assume actions always reflect personality. Psychologists call this the fundamental attribution error. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, you might think they're rude. But what if they're rushing to the hospital? When we judge ourselves, we consider circumstances. When we judge others, we often ignore circumstances and blame character. This simple mistake causes countless misunderstandings in everyday life. The next insight can help you avoid manipulation. Pay attention to consistency. People can fake behavior for minutes, sometimes even hours. But maintaining a fake personality over weeks, months, or years becomes extremely difficult. That's why actions over time reveal far more than promises. Anyone can make a promise. Character is revealed by repeated behavior. Watch patterns, not performances. Now here's a psychological secret that can dramatically improve your relationships. People don't always want advice. Often they want understanding. When someone shares a problem, our instinct is to immediately offer solutions. But many times, people simply want to feel heard. The ability to listen without interrupting, judging, or trying to fix everything instantly is one of the most valuable social skills you can develop. People may forget your words, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And finally, perhaps the most important insight of all, the better you understand yourself, the better you'll understand others. We often project our own fears, insecurities, and beliefs onto the people around us. If you're insecure, you may assume others are judging you. If you're distrustful, you may assume others have bad intentions. Self-awareness acts like a mirror. The more clearly you see yourself, the more accurately you can see everyone else. So, if you want to read people like a book, start by reading yourself first. Because psychology isn't just about understanding other minds. It's about understanding your own. And once you do that, you'll begin noticing things that most people miss every single day. The question is, what is one behavior you've noticed in people that instantly tells you something about their personality? Think about it, because the answer might reveal something about you too.